What's up? Can you guys hear me? Yes? No? You can hear me? Hey, there's one comment. There we go. You guys are awake. We're trying new things today. There's a lot. We're streaming to 3 different places at once. So we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube right now. We're trying all the things. I'm sure nobody's watching on Twitch, but hopefully some people are watching other places. And I have no idea how this is going to work with comments, but we're going to give it a shot. So I'm trying to make sure I've got everything covered right now. So if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuned in from. There is a Twitch, but it's a new Twitch. I literally just signed up for it like this week. So yes, there is a Twitch. I have no idea how much we're going to use the Twitch, but we'll see. I don't want to make any Twitch promises. I don't want to make any live stream promises, but it does exist. So if you are a Twitch user, feel free to go over there. So anyway, what's up? How's everybody on this Friday? Is anybody at Eldora? Looks like Frank is in Brandon. So does that mean, Frank, you're at Huset's? Everybody say hi to Todd. One of Todd's photos is on the thumbnail for this live stream. Andrew says it's 110 degrees in California. Bet. Yes. So the Twitch thing, I don't know anything about. Not So Suspicious says to try to link the Twitch in the YouTube. So I will definitely do that. I've literally just started exploring Twitch here in the last couple of days. Twitch, very interesting place. Very different than YouTube. I've been paying for StreamYard, which is the platform that I'm using to stream this, and I've used it literally once since I started paying for it. I would like to be using it more often. I just haven't done it yet. Dustin says 25 cars, not many fans at Huset's. Definitely disappointing last night to see only 25 late models at Huset's. I would have hoped it would have been a little bit better for that, better than that for 53,000 to win. But anyway, we're trying to make Dirt Tracker available everywhere. We're like daily shows on Facebook, YouTube, podcast places. I was going to try to see if I could stream to TikTok too, but you can't do that through StreamYard. So I may do something else through TikTok in the future if we can figure it out. But if you have questions, there are things you would like me to speak on, feel free. Obviously, we are coming off of the Joker's jackpot at Eldora last night with David Gravel picking up the $100,000. World of Outlaws drivers definitely having a very good 2 days of high limit racing. Dustin says, ever thought about trying to stream on Kick? I don't know. Is there more people on Kick than there are on Twitch? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so good 2 days for outlaw drivers at Eldora. Not super shocked by that. I did think we would see a little bit more out of Larson. You know, Brent Marks, I feel like wasn't really a factor either day. Where did Brent finish? We've obviously seen him do really well. Brent's 7th and 6th. That's not terrible. But obviously Gio with the massive heartbreak leading the first 33 laps and then just screwing up on the cushion, not getting the victory. I feel like that stuff with Gio, it's like maybe you just got to throw one away, screwing up before you can come around. You know, you got to lose a crown jewel before you win the crown jewel sometimes. Dalton wants to know if anybody can beat Bobby Pierce. I definitely think Bobby is beatable. He seems to go in waves, especially right now. He's had where he'll go on a run, win some races, and then he'll struggle for a little bit, and then he'll win some races, and then he'll struggle for a little bit. This right here is one of the craziest things that I've seen happen, is that all of a sudden Hudson O'Neal is now a bad guy. Like, that blows me away. Blows me away. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, he stole RTJ's ride. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. It wasn't RTJ's ride to begin with. Brad wants to know who's my pick to win tonight, at which race. You're going to have to be a little more specific. Do we think Pierce has enough time to catch Shepard and Hoffman? I think he's running out of time, honestly. I know he's caught up a little bit, but the big problem for Pierce is just how consistent Shepard is. Shepard is just going to continue racking up top 10 after top 10 after top 10 and top 5 after top 5 after top 5. And at 134 points back, it's going to be very difficult to catch him like that. This would have been a crazy scenario, for sure. Jacob Allen passes Gio catfish in the bottom. That definitely would have been wild. Dale wants to know how Tanner Holmes did last night. Tanner was in a B main. Yeah, 10th in the B. He was 18th in his prelim feature, 10th in a B last night. Where did Tanner finish in his heat race? Tanner was 5th in his heat race. If you guys are curious about race results and stats, I have a whole section of dirttracker.com dedicated to all of this information, which is what I'm looking at right now. What are the top 20 biggest dirt races? Do you mean like on the schedule or like individual races ever? Let me, Nicholas, come back. Let me be a little more specific there. Was there a big payout through the field last night or just for first place at which race? Let's see. Sammy says he boos for the fun. I like that. I don't know that there is any guarantee that Huset puts on a better show tonight. I love the idea of Huset's high bank, little racetrack. Sometimes that works out, sometimes that doesn't work out. What is the real reason for the RTJ departure? I have no idea, and I don't know that anybody does. I think unless you're Todd Burns or Ricky Thornton Jr., anything else is just speculation. And there's obviously been all sorts of rumors about what the reason is. That's one of those things we will probably likely never know the actual truth. Predictions for Final Four at Eldora for Lucas. I think you see him right now. Not that one. This one. I think it's RTJ, Davenport, Moran, and O'Neill. I think McCready has not been good enough, and especially with what we've seen out of O'Neill so far, I don't know that McCready's going to run him back down. Jack wants to know if he's missed any news. I don't think so. I don't think I've seen any breaking news. My phone hasn't been blowing up today. So, obviously, if you were around yesterday, you saw High Limit announce that they are going to Australia officially. That is something we talked about on the Daily Show twice this year. The first time we mentioned it was in January, and then we mentioned it again, a week or two ago, that this was going to happen. So if you watch the Daily Show on YouTube or Facebook or listen to the podcast, you already knew that was going to happen. This seems to be a hot topic. Everybody is always very angry that World Racing Group owned series don't recognize other series. And this isn't just a World of Outlaws Sprint Cars High Limit thing. This has been going on for years with the late model series and Lucas, Super Dirt Car series, and all of the other stuff in the Northeast, short track super series and all of that. This is not a new thing. And I see both sides of it, right? Like I understand that, for the betterment of the sport and all of that, we should just be talking about everything. But also, like, you don't see Coke tweeting or talking about Pepsi. You don't see McDonald's promoting Burger King. I feel like in some of these instances, put yourself in the shoes of somebody that's running and owning a business. And when it's your money involved and when it comes to taking money out of your pocket, are you going to just be all about the community, or are you going to be all about your business? Because I don't think we think enough about what we would do in those situations. And maybe you would be all about promoting everybody else, but not everybody feels that way. And I don't know, I don't care either way. I just don't know why it's such a problem that the Outlaws don't actively promote everyone else. It doesn't make sense to me why that's such a problem for everybody. Is Larson skipping tonight at Eldora? I do not know if he is skipping tonight. Maybe he is because there's not big money. I can't imagine he's not running tomorrow with the Cup cars at the Brickyard. It's not like he's super far away. Has anybody looked at, do we have entries posting yet for Eldora on my race pass? Let's see. All right, I do not see Larson on the entry list for tonight. It's certainly possible he's going to skip tonight just because it's a standard outlaw format, not big money type of deal. And you don't need to do anything tonight to set yourself up for tomorrow because the Kings Royal is its own complete show. Supposedly there is some sort of investigation going on. I've heard some rumblings about some people looking into Baylog's crash and why that car separated and came apart like it did. Tyler says Australia has been waiting big races and drivers, and they're getting a bunch of people or complaining. Who cares if it's the same time as Speed Week? I don't think this is a problem. Is this a problem? Are people mad about this? I don't know why people would be mad about 100,000 to win race, but like they don't ever get super big money races in Australia. Jim wants to know how you find me on Twitch. I think it's just twitch.tv/dirttracker. Yes, twitch.tv/dirttracker. There are a few people, I think, tuned in over there. I'm trying to keep up. Barry wants to know why late models cover their tires in their rear end, because late model guys love to be super secretive. They think they have the hot setup and they don't want anybody to know. XR's Barry Braun wants to know what my take is on 25 late models at Huset's. I would have hoped there would be more, especially with 53,000 to win. The Kosiskis, you know, I know that's not a late model part of the country, but with no outlaws this week, Summer Nationals effectively over, a bunch of the Southern National stuff getting rained out. I don't know why you wouldn't have towed up there to make a little bit of money. I don't generally understand like why people make the decisions they make to race and not race places. You know, guys will literally drive by a 25,000 to win show to go run a 4,000 to win show. So I feel like I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I would have hoped for a lot better. I think 25 is not great. Braden wants to know if Silence will ever get a chance on a traveling team. I don't know. You know, the issue there is you know, always going to be funding. You know, is he best to try to chase a ride, or is he best try to build his own program? Nicholas wants to know what the top 20 races on the schedule are this year. I mean, it's pretty much going to be, you know, crown jewels, right? It's like where you're going to have the opportunity to see all the top guys together, you know, Dirt Late Model Dream, World 100, you know, Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal, you know, World Finals. If you haven't done World Finals is a favorite of mine, just because you get to see sprint cars, late models, you know, Super Dirt Car Series all in one track. That's a really fun one. That's not something you get to see very often throughout the year. Even if you do Dirt Car Nationals, you don't get to see all of those cars, you know, same night. And from there, you know, after the crown jewels, you know, the topless 100s and the show me 100s and, you know, the high bank nationals at Husets and all of these races, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to feel very differently about what the top 20 races are on the schedule. You know, Super Dirt Week is going to be up there. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot. I believe it is 100K Australian, which would make it like 60 something, 65K, I think, US. Everybody say hi to Callum. I was hoping we were going to get to see Callum race a little bit more this year here in the States, but you know, he'll be ready when that 100K race comes to Australia this year. Callum, I hope you're good, dude. There seems to be some thought that Larson is at Eldora, apparently. I guess we'll see. What other questions do you guys got? Oh, here you go. Can anybody help Callum find a better ride? any car owners are watching, Callum would love a call. Jody wants to know if I play iRacing. I'm guessing iRacing. They forgot the I part. I do. I'm not very good. Definitely agree with this. I'm probably a little biased, though. Blake is a good friend. I've known Blake for a very long time. He's very good at what he does. I definitely miss him, you know, being on the mic regularly. Obviously, he's got a good gig there at Huset, or at Huset's at Skagit. Jeff says KL will be running tonight. I'm sure most of you don't know who Jeff is, but Jeff would know if Kyle was going to run tonight. So we listen to Jeff. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. This isn't a big deal to me. I don't really care that much. I don't understand why everybody gets so mad about them not mentioning it. So this is something that's come up a lot over the last several years, me starting some sort of Discord situation. And I'm not against it, but I don't want to moderate it. And I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but some of the people that comment on my stuff, not very nice. And I don't want it to devolve into nastiness and ugliness. So if people would love to volunteer, or if people would want to volunteer to help me moderate, maybe we could look into that. Or maybe we could make it a benefit for those people that are channel members or something. Callum came all the way to the US to build Steve Smith's shed? That's not good. I do not play any console racing games. I haven't had a console in a very long time. I know I've covered this before. This comes up a lot also. I would cover smaller series if people would tune in when I covered smaller series. There is somehow this idea that like I control what you guys want to see, and it's not true. I go where you guys take me. If I put something up and you don't tune in, I'm probably not going to talk about it again. And I've done something like 1,200 daily shows at this point. So I've experimented a lot. We're at 1,124 daily shows. Tyler wants to know my picks for tonight and tomorrow, Huset and Eldora. I'm going to probably go with, I'll go with Shep tonight at Huset's. He's won there before. I like him. For Eldora tonight, I'm going to go Shots. He's been fast. I can see him breaking through. By the way, thanks for the $5 from Tyler and the donations from everybody else. Much appreciated. This, I think, is an interesting question. So I've talked about this with a few people that I know in the industry. I don't know that the high limit roster is going to change much next year. And the reason is because of the charters. So the charters are really, if you're not in the top 5 after this year, the charters are really dependent on what you do in the first 2 years. So if you join later, you're going to have less of a chance of getting one. So I don't know that you're going to see all of this big influx of guys go run high limit next year to try to get a charter. Like if Gravel wins the championship this year, I don't know that it makes a lot of sense for him to try to go to high limit next year. I think we'll kind of have to wait and see, but I think that was kind of the whole reason they set it up the way they did, is to get everybody in early, make them make that commitment, and then they don't have to worry about it going forward. And there's still going to be, some probably small changes here and there. I don't know that you'll see, like what we saw this year again. I don't think it'll be on that scale. If I came to Eldora and wore a shirt, whose would it be? Probably one of my own. I know that's like faux pas in racing, that you're not supposed to wear your own shirts, but I don't care. This is fair. Oh, I love this. Oh, sneak peeks on new merch designs in the works. Should I share a little bit here? I have a new t-shirt that should be maybe a week or two away. It's on my phone. I'm just gonna zoom in really far. This is a tiny little peek of a new t-shirt design coming. So there you go. Coming soon to shop.dirttracker.com, new t-shirts. I'm going a completely different direction with merch. We're going to try some different stuff. There you go. Tyler says Larson signed in. Super modifieds are pavement racing. This is called Dirt Tracker. To be fair, I use my race pass too. Sprint car ratings, I use it all. Obviously, I don't have everything, so. I've done camo hats before. Should I do camo hats again? I did do camo hats, Bo. The charters go to the car owners. So Casey would own the Brad Sweet charter. Adam wants to know an underdog for the win Saturday at Eldora. I feel like the hard part about Eldora is you got to have good stuff. Like Eldora is like Knoxville. It's really hard to go there and just win out of nowhere. You kind of got to have the good trimmed out stuff, the big horsepower. Maybe Jacob, you could say, would maybe be a guy who could do it. I feel like anybody you're going to mention here, though, is like not likely an actual true underdog. Like Peck, he's been fast, but is he an underdog? I don't really know. I don't know that you're going to see, Chase Randall or a Ryan Timms or somebody like that jump up and win this race. That's not really who wins at Eldora. How many dirt racing hats are in my collection? Way too many. Way too many. I have to go through periodically and thin them out a little bit, or the wifey's, she would get mad at me. This is an important point about merch. Whenever I do merch, once it's done, it's done. It's not coming back. We're only going to do designs one time, and then we're going to move on to something new. So if you see me, like this next round of t-shirts, that round of t-shirts will never be on sale again. So you got to grab, if you want it, grab it. If not, don't worry about it. Dirt. Most racers, just generally, you want to talk about dirt racing. Even into NASCAR, the base thing that you're going to get is a percentage. 40% very, very common for drivers to get paid, but you're going to probably figure 40 to 50% depending on the driver. And then really high level top guys might also get a salary. You think about like the top sprint car drivers, they might get a salary as well, but it's probably not that much. But it is very much very heavily weighted on a percentage of the car itself, which makes sense, right? You want that driver to be tied to the performance of the car. So, giving them the percentage is the easy way to do that. So I did a whole daily show about the charter system back in, I think, December, which I could probably find the link to. They're going to give away 5 charters the first year, 5 charters the second year, and then that basically guarantees you, your money for the year. So it's like instead of getting a purse or like a point fund, then your money is just going to be basically paid out through that charter system. Let me scroll here and I'll see if I can find the video link, and I will put that in the chat. Let me find it. I gotta scroll back here. I did a whole thing about the charters. There it is. Back in December when it was announced. Yeah, December 10th. So here is a whole explainer. I'm putting that in the chat about how the high limit charter system works. So I haven't actually been to that many dirt tracks. Working in NASCAR for as long as I did, I didn't have time to do it. I've been to Volusia, Charlotte. Like the dirt track at Charlotte is literally 4 miles from where I'm sitting right now. So I've been there. I went to Golden Hours this year for the Lucas High Limit weekend. I've been to Williams Grove. I've been to some other tracks here and there, but for the most part, I don't have a long list. So, I would love to go to Eldora, to Knoxville, to do all of those things. It just hasn't happened. I don't really miss working on pit road. I miss the money for sure, but 16 years was enough. It's kind of nice to be home on weekends now and get to hang out with my son and go to baseball games and do all of that stuff that I missed for that amount of time. I like the work area. I know a lot of people don't. I love the drama of the work area, especially in sprint car racing where you've only got the 2 minutes. I love the chaos and the shouting and can we change a whole front end in 2 minutes? I love the work area. Highlights of my year so far. I mean, I think adding Kubota was definitely a big one. They've been super great partners so far. And you've seen them come in and do so much, with High Limit and with the Hunt the Front guys. They are big fans of the sport. And it's been really fun to work with them so far. Hopefully we'll have more fun stuff, coming in the future with them. But that's definitely got to be high on the list for sure. Steve, this is very kind. I am actually 40 years old, and if I take the hat off, you can see the hair is starting to go away a little bit. But yeah, 16 years. I started pitting in what, 06, and I Worked all the way up till 2022. I've never done any announcing. No announcing. This is definitely true. I don't miss pitting on 90-degree days. When you're wearing fireproof underwear and a 3-layer fire suit and a head sock and a full face helmet, don't miss that at all. This guy right here is the biggest work area hater on the planet. Jeremy hates the work area. Just one of the many things that me and Jeremy disagree about. I was a tire changer for a very long time. I have some, I don't know if you can see it back behind me. You can see when Sheldon Creed won the truck championship, I was on his truck. There's the championship ring for Sheldon. Lots of race wins too. Busch Clash, Xfinity, Victory Lane at Atlanta. Lots of fun things. I pitted for Bubba. What interest do I have outside of racing? Golf, all sorts of sports, baseball. I'm in grad school right now. All sorts of things. What sim cockpit do I use for iRacing? I don't even know what that thing is. GT Omega. I've got the haptic feedback, the chair pad that vibrates, and I do VR. I don't even have screens. I haven't heard anything about this. I didn't even really point anything out. I just talked about how there was a coincidence between the two. Man, I don't know about this. It's like so often Miami is like on the brink of being good, but do I trust that they're going to be good? I don't know. I don't know. I wish they, but like, so my freshman year at Miami is when we lost the national championship to Ohio State. That was my freshman year. It has literally been downhill every year since then. Yes, I'm in grad school currently, working on my master's degree. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet. Like the stream, wherever you're watching or tuning in from, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, give me that like. Subscribe to the channel. We do daily shows 5 days a week, Sunday through Thursday. You can watch the daily on YouTube, Facebook, podcast places. Don't even start with me on this, okay? I will kick you out of the stream. Don't even start with me on this. I don't think I could pan the camera around the room because it's like wired and stuff. I can like, you can kind of see the rest of my like spot here. I can move it around a little bit, but this is like just what you see on the Daily Show. I don't know that I've heard of crash testing anytime recently. They do like tests often on like the thickness of the chassis tubing. They actually have like a little device that like shoots like sound waves, and they can measure the thickness that way. And I know that happens pretty regularly. Um, Obviously, the Baylog thing, I don't know that I've seen something happen like that before. That was as wild as it gets. I mean, that chassis just disintegrated, which is obviously not what you hope for. I do think there is a real future for more gambling stuff in dirt racing. I know I've been shocked how badly some of you have reacted to the conversations that I have had on the show about it. But I do think that you're going to see it, especially if USAC has any amount of success with it, it will expand other places. And USAC is in a unique position with how their organization is put together and some of the things they've done. So it's their path to, doing it legally was easier. But I do think that it's possible that it could expand to other places. It's another possible revenue stream. It works for the MLB, it works for NFL, NBA. They're all in on it. There's sponsorship deals and revenue shares and all of that stuff. I don't know how, if you're dirt racing, how you just completely overlook it and sidestep it. And I know you guys are going to talk about there's going to be cheating and, fake, results and all of that type of stuff. But I definitely think there is a chance that this expands in the coming years for sure. I haven't worked at World Racing Group in 4 years, and I know back when I worked there, there were conversations about what that would look like. I was not at that Bristol Spring race. So I started pitting like lower levels in 2006. I wasn't full-time in the Cup Series until 2010. I did Xfinity full-time in, what did I do? 607. I was full-time Xfinity in, I think, 08 and 09, and then started pitting in the Cup Series in 2010, I think. Chet still works for Flow Racing. Chet does like production stuff, behind the scenes stuff. I actually saw Chet earlier this year. He was at Golden Isles. I think he travels with High Limit, like with the High Limit, like with the Flow Racing crew that does the High Limit races. But yeah, Chet is still around. He's still hanging out. Still Chet. I don't do the conspiracy theories. I don't. This is not. You will not see me talk about stuff like this. And back to this. The last 2 nights have been high limit sanctioned, so it's high limit officials running, the tech process. Yeah, I definitely agree with Jeremy here. I think gambling has a future. I don't know who's making the USAC odds. They definitely need to work on those. But yeah, I definitely think this is coming. I did not play sports at Miami, but I had a half academic scholarship. I was there 02 to 06. And then after I left Miami, then came to Charlotte and to figure out how to pit. I would agree with this. Yeah. A little dirt tracker plus would go a long way to making better odds. This is absolutely not what I said. Not at all what I said. but I do not think that there is some sort of conspiracy by outlaw officials to allow World of Outlaws teams to run whatever you want to say for them to cheat and beat high limit teams. Those are two very different things. The odds so far have been good for gamblers. When Axum won, I think it was during Indiana Midget Week, he hadn't run a race in a while, and he was like plus 1,200 or something on the odds, and a bunch of people bet him and hit for absolutely huge money. I mean, huge money, like putting down $50 or $75 and winning like $2,000. So yes, the odds have seemed to me to be very good for the gamblers. I do think Ricky Thornton Jr. can win where he's at right now. I think you've seen that the last week. There's plenty of speed in that car. They've got good stuff. They've got Longhorn stuff. They're going to make sure, that he's got everything he needs to succeed. Jeremy, are you still in here in the chat? Find Callum a ride. Is that what it was? 70-1 or something? It was insane. It was like whoever was making those odds had never heard of Emerson Axum before. This will be interesting, by the way, because RTJ is running for Rumley now at PDC. So I think it could be RTJ. William, is this a real question? You guys kill me. Callum, I was going to ask you the same question. Will you sponsor me? I don't know about this one. I don't know what the future for McCready is in the Rocket House car. I mean, we know that McCready can just stack up top 10s, right? Just all day, right? But is that good enough? I don't know. This is a tough one. And with the way things are going right now, if the Rocket House car is going to stay Lucas, if you're not winning all the time, how are you going to compete for that championship? How are you going to beat Moran and Davenport and RTJ and now O'Neill? I just don't know. Do you think this is true? You don't think the 6 is capable of being as good as it's been? I mean, who have we seen in it? I mean, Larson. But it's tough with Larson just because he doesn't do it all the time. And O'Neill kind of in between. But I do think there is, a transition period for O'Neill going from Rocket to Longhorn, which he seems to be doing better with now. But I could definitely still see that 6 car winning. I don't know that we will see Larson in a late model for a very long time. I don't know that there's any guarantee that he runs Wild West Shootout next year, because he's going to go to Australia, and he might go back to Chili Bowl. So I don't know. This one I don't know. Like, I would have, like, I'm shocked that Alberson hasn't won a race already. I mean, on the late model side, he is the best driver in the country without a national touring win. I mean, full stop. Like, I don't. It's like the Dalton Wilson thing. Like, it's coming. I don't know when it'll happen. It will definitely happen, but I'm not sure. I think the possibilities of this are actually probably pretty decent. I'm sure there will be other people that will talk to RTJ and other people who will try to get him. But I think if things go well towards the end of this year, I don't know that, RTJ will need to leave. I mean, I would assume that he'll have conversations, right? And that, it's certainly possible that he will leave. But I think there's a decent chance that he stays in that car going forward. Yeah, I think it's too early for this. I don't know how you make these decisions yet. And it always depends on, it's like you sign up for both sides and see how the year goes, the start of the year goes. You just never know. Yeah, they are on different weeks, I think. But it's not, I don't think it's about that. Like, I think Larson is, I think he's kind of trying to pull back a little bit. And obviously he needs to be more locked in with high limit. And I know he's, at least in terms of day-to-day stuff, like, he's got JP to handle a lot of the business stuff, but, he's still involved there. He's still trying to race as much as he can. So, the demands on his time are different. And I know, all of the Indy 500 stuff this year, was definitely I think a bit of a drain on him with all of the extra stuff he had to do. This won't happen because the contract only runs during the season. So, like, Macedo will probably be one of the guys that runs that weekend, because the platinum agreement doesn't exist outside of the season. I mean, to be fair, we don't see corporate sponsors, on that many teams anyway, not just beer sponsors. I don't think this will happen. I feel like the times we've seen Owens in a Longhorn here recently, it doesn't go well. I think he's probably better in a Rocket. I think Max has done a nice job. And honestly, like, he's lasted longer in that car than I thought he would. GR and that team don't have a great reputation with hanging on to drivers for a long period of time. And so I think it's gone about as well as it could have gone. For him to have already won races, he had like a really hellacious stretch there for a while. Then, he's struggled here the last couple of weeks a little bit more, but I definitely think there is, some potential there. I I mean, Bishop did win the Dirt Track World Championship. I know it was a weird night, but the 4 races, both. It's team and driver. You can't sidestep it by going and driving for a different team. This one I don't know about. We'd have to check with Toby at Sprint Car Hub about this one. This would be much more his line. This one I don't know about. I feel like the chance that Rico gets a high limit charter is pretty good. I don't know that anybody behind him is going to beat him right now. I think he's got a pretty decent shot. Yeah, he's up to 4th, in the standings right now. He's got like a 60-point cushion to Peck in 6th. I don't see Peck all of a sudden outrunning Rico. So I don't know that will change. If you guys are not following Master Gassers on Twitter and social media and checking out his website, go do that, please. He's doing a really nice job with stuff. So the stuff with McFadden, I had heard that whatever service they were using to do their visas going back and forth was the reason for this. So I would imagine that they will fix that, rectify that for the future. And all of the issues that guys had before, what was it, a year or 2 ago, where it was like Sweet and Sheldon and some guys were having issues. I would assume that this won't be a thing again. I would guess that this will be worked out for the future. I was actually just talking to somebody about this the other day. I will be super curious to see what happens with this team if this is indeed the case. And all signs right now are pointing to Day going pavement racing. I know we haven't seen him do it yet again since he ran that late model race at Hickory. But I think you could very easily see him back on pavement again this year. I think the sprint car right now is very much the focus, but I think some things are coming here. And so the question will then be, if they stay, who's the driver? Is it another California guy? And if it's a California guy, which one? Or do they go somewhere else? This will be a super interesting question for next year. We have no idea what the value of a high limit charter will be. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch over the next couple of years if this actually ends up being the way to do this. And really what that is the chance, and not the chance, but the way that high limit is going to distribute effectively your share of the streaming stuff. If they don't end up with if they don't end up with more money from streaming or from a broadcast rights deal, then it's not different than what it will be, than what it is right now. And then it's like, the question is how do you, if you stay with Flow, which obviously they will, because Flow is a park owner, how do you get more money? Like, how do you negotiate against yourself to get more rights fees out of Flow? This will be really interesting, I think, to watch how this plays out with the charters and the valuations going forward. This is my favorite thing about doing what I've been doing with the channel and the website and all the stuff, is all of the people in the sport who recognize what it is that I'm doing. That's the best part. And I know I don't get everything right all the time. I'm going to screw things up and say stupid stuff, I had a kind of a meetup with a late model racer this week, and even he was like most of the stuff you say is pretty good. You definitely get some stuff wrong, and like if I get things wrong, let me know, I'll fix it. But this has been my favorite part is the people in the industry who see what I'm doing, and that's been great, absolutely great. I have not seen the actual like contract paperwork for it. I had seen the original high limit like paperwork, like contract agreement for the short season for the midweek season, but I have not seen this. I haven't asked for it either. I'm sure if I put it out there, somebody would probably email it to me. But I have not seen what exactly it looks like. And I know to start the year, they were like, okay, we're going to do this, but they didn't have it all worked out yet. So I don't know if by now they've worked with lawyers and gotten it all handled, or if they're still waiting on that. I don't know about that. I could see RTJ getting a single one-off truck deal or something like that. At some point in the future with Kenny's help. Maybe especially too if RTJ can bring a little cash. If maybe one of his sponsors will help fund it. That was the reason why we saw like Davenport get in a cup car, was because Nutrien, helped fund it. So like if RTJ can bring a little bit of money, it could definitely happen. I don't know that I would expect RTJ to suddenly go full time NASCAR racing. It might be a one off here and there, but it could be fun. We'll see. We'll see if something works out there. Yeah, I see some of you guys saying who could get in the Jason Myers car, Sanders and Axum. I mean, there's no lack of drivers, right? But that car runs pretty well with Corey Day in it. So, does Sanders want to come run a tour full time? Um, I know he's got a business out there in California. Um, I don't know. Maybe Axum could be a guy, but it seems like they've got some decent stuff where he's racing right now. I don't know. This information about streaming numbers is not really public. I've had some friends send me some stuff from time to time. And I spent, when I worked at World Racing Group, like one of my main jobs was working on Dirt Vision. So I know what the Dirt Vision numbers were 4 or 5 years ago. What they are now, I don't know. I mean, I could guess. But yeah, they're not going to make that information public. It's they have a hard time sharing it even with the teams. I think there's a little bit more sharing that goes on the Flow Racing side than on the Dirt Vision side, but I don't know that you're going to get that to change. I'm a one man band. The only thing that I don't do, and I've shouted her out before, but the streaming schedule at dirttracker.com, my mom does the data entry for that. But everything else is me. I design and create the merch. If you order a shirt, it's me packing it and shipping it to you. I do all the daily shows. I coded the website. I do everything. Obviously I have, some photographers that I work with, some guys that I support. I have a lot of people that help me out with information, things like that. But I am a one man band. Dirt Tracker is me and only me. I think this is a situation, right, where we need to realize or decide if there actually is a problem. You're going to see a lot of people hating on Triple X because they come from China, but Triple X chassis are built in China and then they ship them to Washington, where Triple X's facility is, and the cars are checked over there before they are sent out to anyone. And there are a lot of high level teams running triple X's with no issues. So, without knowing what, the history of the car was that Balog was racing, I mean, was that a brand new triple X? Was it a car that had been repaired? I mean, we can't just sit here and say that it's a problem with triple X. Like, obviously, seeing the way his car came apart and then how Polkerbeck's car broke at Knoxville last year, like they look very similar. Two very different impacts, which I think, needs to be taken into consideration. But, I would imagine that, Mike Hess and now Kenny Canada on the high limit side, and Tom Devitt and Carlton and the people on the outlaw side are probably taking a look at that. We'll see if something comes of it. I don't know that I would expect anything to come out of it. This is the first time I've never been told I look like a long lost Joyner brother. This is a new one. No, I like those guys though. I knew Joshua when he worked at World Racing Group back in the day. We were there at the same time. It's been fun watching those guys grow their thing and start the series and their streaming schedule or their streaming service and all of that. I think it's been really fun to watch those guys do that. So here's the problem with this though, is you start talking about these user numbers, and are these user numbers people that are just signed up for an account? Because remember, on Dirt Vision, you can sign up for an account that's free. Like, you can just go sign up for a Dirt Vision account to watch the vault. So is that number, or is that, a subscriber number for people that are paying? That's where that starts to get weird with Dirt Vision. I have not heard anything here about any rumblings about the chassis. I know Overton hasn't been super great lately. He's won a few things. We saw, Gustin kind of go on a run there, driving that thing too, but it hasn't seemed like they've had a ton of speed here lately. Yeah, mom helps with the streaming schedule. Mom and dad are retired, so that's like her little side project for me. I still get in there and check and make sure that stuff is there. Things get added or deleted late, so we try to make sure it's as updated as possible. But yeah, she's deep in it now. She's asking about stuff and wanting to understand things, and yeah, she's coming around. I don't know about this one. He's been fast. He's won with Short Track Super Series. He's won, obviously his usual local stuff. He just hasn't had the dominating season we've seen in the last couple of years. I can't imagine it'll last very long. It never seems to. I mean, like, in what's a down year? Is he leading the points right now on the Super Car Series side? Or is he like second? I think he's leading. Yeah, he's leading. Like, hasn't won a race, still leading the championship. Is that really a down year? Not that often. As somebody who used to be at a racetrack 100 plus times a year, it's not like high on my priority list. I'm going to do World Finals. I did the Golden Isles weekend this year with Lucas and High Limit. I'll try to get up to Millbridge a little bit here and there. There may be an Eldora Knoxville trip at some point in the future as well, but yeah, not that often. Another look-alike thing? You think I look like Justin Grant? That's another one I've never heard before. That's a new one. Yeah, but most of those wins are not series wins. So do we really, we can't count them the same, right? I did a whole daily show about this last year as well. It is one of my most viewed videos. Let's go look. I did this for sprint cars and for late models. I would like to do this for other car types as well. I would like to do this for, you know, maybe modifieds and stuff too. It's on my show idea list. Let me look. Yeah, it's my third most watched video from last year. It's on the YouTube channel. Give Brian everybody give Brian some tracks that he can drive to from Colorado. Throw those in the chat, places that Brian should go see races at. I know the 200 of people that are watching right now can give Brian a few recommendations. Here we go, Brian. Look in the chat. You'll have some ideas of some stuff to check out. So this, like, I always go back and forth on this. I've done obviously interviews in the past for Dirt Tracker, and me and Ross used to do this all the time with Open Red. The problem is first of all, it's a pain in the ass to track people down for this. It will happen again in the future for sure. Like I'll find somebody that I'll want to talk to, or like I have some ideas and some drivers that I, have been trying to, get aligned with. So there will be times in the future. This is not going to be a centerpiece of what I do. It's hard to differentiate. I think people see like, certain drivers go on shows and they think that all of the interviews are the same. And so it's hard to do that. And like I did a bunch of interviews this last off season. I had Alex Bowman, I had Brandon Shepard, I did Zach Hampton, I did Dominic Scelzi, which were all really great. A lot of those don't do a ton of views. So, again, not saying it won't happen, but I mean, nothing planned for the immediate future. Yeah, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I was born in Medford in Oregon, actually not too far from where Tanner is from. Tanner's from Jacksonville, which is kind of a little bit of a burb of Medford. I pay attention to the racing out there for sure. I don't know that I have like a favorite driver. I don't really have a favorite driver of anything. When you work in it for as long as I have, that kind of ends where you have like favorite drivers. So. Does this mean like how many people were there or how many cars were there? I did not watch this one yet. I'll probably check it out soon. I'm not even sure. I didn't see even who won that one. Can you explain how it works for tracks to have their shows broadcast and how they get compensation for the right to the broadcast? How do they make money? I'm not sure exactly what the like dollar amounts are, but like for example, like Dirt Vision and the World of Outlaws races, right? They've got a couple of trucks that follow the series. But when you have like for like Williams Grove, for example, like they have the Dirt Vision equipment that never leaves. They've got their camera guy, they've got the audio stuff that's piped in. And then I don't know if it's like a flat fee for the season, which I'm assuming is probably the most likely thing. I doubt there is some sort of rev share for that, just because it's not like a pay-per-view type deal. But yeah, I mean, Dirt Vision is certainly paying them, probably some flat fee for the season in terms of rights to be able to carry them. Do you think adding a berm at the inside wall at Eldora would help make cars run the bottom, especially in sprint cars, or is it always normal for the pole sitter to run away on the top? Eldora has been pretty top dominant here lately. There are examples of guys running the bottom. I mean, was it Greg Wilson won what 6 or 8 years ago, and Johnny didn't even realize it? Because he was just kind of down there sneaking around the bottom. It's just hard to beat that top when you can really just keep the momentum up there. I don't know that adding a berm would make that any different, but maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, I think Eldora for the most part is usually going to be pretty top dominant the way it's configured right now. Yeah, Tanner is a great kid, great family. Like his mom is awesome. Carly is a star in the making. She's gonna take over the world at some point. That girl is everywhere. Tanner, this is the thing that I wish people would understand about people like Tanner. Like, this kid is hustling from the moment he gets out of bed in the morning till he goes to bed at night, whether it's working on the race car, being at the racetrack, helping his family do the merch. And like, he was at World Finals this last year, and like in the middle of the World Finals program, while he's running the Shark car, he's got his laptop open because he's working on files and cutting video and doing all of this stuff. Like, that kid, if you look at just his Facebook page, he's posting like 6 or 8 times a day to his Facebook page. The amount of time and effort and work that goes into doing that is insane. Is absolutely insane. Like, the best I can do, and like, I mean, I'm not trying to drive a sprint car full time. I can post 2 or 3 times a day tops to Facebook. And I'm sitting in my desk chair all the time. I'm not at racetracks and trying to do all of these things. Tanner is incredible. Like, the good thing too about Tanner is Tanner brings the kids. The kids love Tanner, and that's what we need. We need the kids to come, because the kids are the future. I'm waving back at Diana. Thank you, Diana. This is insanity to me. The fact that we allow, like, I'm okay with 360s and 410s in the same race, but 305s on the racetrack with 410s blows me away. Blows me away. I don't understand this at all. Not even a little bit. I don't see this being the thing. They don't have the pockets that Hoosier has. I don't see this being a thing. This is God, what is her name? I'm having a huge brain fart right now. Crap. I'll think of it. Give me a second. I'll think of it. She lives in Pennsylvania. She does all sorts of sprint car art. Annika Kozer. Major brain fart right there. Don't the 358s have the like the little tiny wings on them? That's like a Pennsylvania thing. Isn't ASCS running this weekend? If you go into ASCS race? Where's the national tour? Yeah, national tour is at Lakeside, Kansas City. So that might be. Yeah, here you go. Annika. She's the one that does the art. She has a website. You can buy prints. Okay, apparently I'm wrong about the 358s. I don't know what this is. What is millennial farmers? Somebody explain that one to me. Yeah, ASCS National Tour. They've got Lakeside today and then 81 Speedway tomorrow. So I would assume that's where he's going. I don't think there's like any Power I 410 stuff going on right now. And obviously like NOSA and IRA are up north. I doubt there's any MOA stuff happening. So I think that was probably would make the most sense for Blake. Yeah, no Power I stuff this week. I did not know this. Millennial farmer. How have I not heard of this? He's 1 million subscribers? He races? I don't see racing content. I see tractors. And to be fair, it's the wrong color tractors for my channel. Oh, he runs a modified. Got it. I don't see any content on here about modifieds, though. Between the Rows. How many YouTube channels does this guy have? Between the Rows. Dang. 182K. He doesn't post super often, but he definitely does post, doesn't he? Nice. Yeah, wrong color. It's got to be orange. What does this mean? With the new tires and 1-inch wicker they use at Eldora May 3rd and 4th, well, this week was the Highland guys' first time with that setup at Eldora. The High Limit guys have been running the same stuff. High Limit rules are the same. He's the stealth king of YouTube racing content. I didn't even know this guy existed. Dale, I'm sponsored by Kubota. Orange. What other YouTube channels do I not know about? Where is Maverick? That's a tough week to be going up. Oh, they're running Bloomington. Bloomington and Red Hill. I don't know what the future of Gateway is. I think it depends on what St. Louis is going to do with that building. And if it doesn't happen there, I don't know where else that event happens. There's not many places that can do that event. I don't know what Stafford's deal is, but I know a lot of the dirt tracks have not been thrilled with their deals with Flow. Obviously, Flow has shut some of those down, and some of the tracks have walked away from some of that stuff, but I don't know that I would say that they're paying a whole lot of money for that. This isn't as big of a deal as you think it is. The top teams don't modify their setups that much from racetrack to racetrack. And just because like Tyler Courtney and Brad Sweet, and Brent Marks, weren't there for that May show doesn't mean they don't know how to set their cars up to get around Eldora. Two days is not enough for them to get an advantage there. Hello, Troy from Southern California. Yeah, this is tough. I don't know where you take it. I don't know where you take it. I've interviewed Ryan. Ryan was an early interview of mine. If you go on my YouTube channel, if you go to the bottom of youtube.com/dirttracker, I have like a bunch of featured channels on there. And like Ryan's there, Tanner's there, Hunt the Front, B-Shep's channel. Who else? Billy Dietrich. A bunch of guys are there. Not talking about the NASCAR track in St. Louis, talking like the Gateway Dirt Nationals that are indoors. The dirt late model race in December. This is a great question. I have no idea about this. But I did a show about this, about the formation of Lucas and how the whole thing like went sideways over that whole deal, because Brian Carter talked about it being like one of his big missteps as CEO of World Racing Group. I mean, I feel like it probably at some point another series would have started, but maybe it wouldn't have happened the way it did. But we'll see. Or I mean, like there's no way to know. You know what I mean? Yeah, Fager's on there too. I like Fager. He jumps into my chat sometimes too. It's funny too because I feel like you think about Fager and who he is, you don't like think about him being like a YouTube guy. I would not picture him being a social media guy. But I love that he's like all in on YouTube. There's like issues with whether or not the people that run the arena are going to continue having that event there. There could be other things happening at that building, which is why there's like it's very year to year. And I know they're doing it again this year, but there are questions about whether or not Cody can get the building secure for the future. So we don't know what the future looks like for Gateway. I haven't seen any updates on Pennsboro. I know Barry was actually here in the chat. If you guys know who Barry Brown is, he owns XR. He was here in the chat a little bit ago. I don't know what the progress is right now at Pennsboro. I know that those big storms they had certainly knocked everything back. And I know they've had some issues getting, work done there. So I don't know that, what the future will hold there. There's obviously a ton of things that need to be done there. I think we'll just kind of have to play that one by ear. I don't believe there's anything like this out there. Maybe somebody in the chat would know better than me, but I don't know that I've run across anything that's like this documentary style that would have old footage, things like that. I mean, there's like places that you can go see, like, interviews with, with old racers. But I don't know that there's anything really like that. And the problem too is it's like some of that old racing footage, it's so hard to find. Some of that stuff. So Southern Nationals is rained out tonight at East Alabama, so that's not happening. TJ Buffenbarger just tweeted they got 62 cars signed in so far for tonight at Eldora. What is this? Oh, I just got an email. My shirts are in production. So hopefully maybe sometime next week, we'll have new Dirt Tracker shirts in hand. We're getting 100 shirts. I did get big boy sizes. There's 4Xs and 5Xs in with the shirts. And the last time I did shirts, I didn't do any smalls or mediums because nobody ever buys them. And then I was getting messages, what are you going to have mediums? So I did get a few smalls and a few mediums as well. I would also recommend Austin's channel if you're curious about dirt late model tech things. He's done a couple of videos that are awesome. Can we talk about how the midget schedule is just so like start stop this year? Like we're not going to see the USAC midgets until September. And when was the last time the extreme midgets raced? Like it's been several weeks. The schedule is super weird this year for the midgets. Yeah, we haven't seen extreme midgets since May 31st. It's crazy. I don't know that I would hold my breath on this one. Just going to say that. Paris is a cool racetrack, but I don't know that you're going to get an outlaw race there or high limit. Again, I know they had USAC. They don't even have USAC anymore. I think they might just be local here, in CRA. I think they're bringing the big deal back next year. I don't know if Barry's doing other events with that deal. But I'm pretty sure the big deal is coming back in 2025. So they just posted. Where'd it go? The Davenport deal. They've got modifieds 20,000 a win here coming up. Actually, next week, July 22nd, July 23rd, July 24th. Bye. Enjoy Huset's, Frank. All right, we're going to wrap this at 5:30. So it's 5:21 right now. So you got 9 minutes. So if you have questions that you would like to ask, get them in. Because we are going to wrap at 5:30. Because my kiddo is home from baseball camp, and we're going to go get dinner. Is Huset's going to rain out tonight? Is it supposed to rain there? What does Google say? I would say they'll probably get Huset's in. There's definitely rain chances, but it looks like they're not till much later. I think they could be okay there. I mean, right now, RTJ is the guy. I don't know that you'll see anybody else. I mean, we've seen Devin Moran do it a few times, but I don't think you'll see O'Neill or anybody like that. I think RTJ is the guy right now. I haven't heard what the deal is with Dom right now. Obviously, he got hurt at Skagit. I don't know what his plans are to come back. With him not running full time, there's no reason for him to really rush it. So I would imagine he'll probably just wait till he's feeling good again before he gets back in a car. Yeah, I don't see any reason why High Limit wouldn't, look at some of these racetracks. I think Cedar Lake, may not happen, but some of these other tracks I think are certainly possible. I guess it just depends on you know, how everybody can work things out with World Racing Group too, because obviously some of these places are tracks that the Outlaws go to. So Master Gasser's breaking news in the chat. New driver for the Beaver car. Well, this isn't good news. I would not imagine this will happen again anytime soon. The way the Lucas chases this year, where it's not just one race, I could definitely see it being RTJ. I feel like that plays into his hands, it not being a one-off, one race championship winner take all type situation. TSR has one sprint car, Donnie Schatz. That's it. They had the 14 car, you know, a couple of years ago that Tony was running for a while. Then Kerry Madsen run a partial schedule in, but it is just the 15 car. I watch all sorts of things. I mean, obviously, I focus on the big stuff, but I watch all sorts of races. It's not just the big stuff. Okay, well now Denny is saying it's good. So I don't know. Hopefully Huset gets in tonight. Flow Series Wednesday night at Fairbury. That's a good question. Maybe O'Neill? Who won at Fairbury last year? Pierce. I could see Pierce winning that race also. Yeah, I would say those are probably both good picks. This is tough just because it's so dependent on, you know, the prep and how it goes, right? Like we've seen Oswego have some good racing. We've seen Oswego go really bad if the dirt is not right. So I'm not sure about this one. I mean, there are obviously tons of great paved tracks, but you know, when they did the Nashville deal, you know, the Rockford thing didn't go great. It's very difficult to get, you know, the dirt down on a pavement track to go really well. I absolutely do not see this happening. All right, 2 minutes. Final 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. Yes, Mandy does a great job. Pay attention to Mandy's channel in August. Just pay attention. Nathan is trying to get me to piss people off by asking a question like this. There's great racing all over the country. I'm great. How are you? It's been a good day, Friday. This is actually a really good question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know that this is like a open and shut thing that they're just going to go back because Tony's out of NASCAR with Stuart Haas and the Ford stuff. That team and Tony have like invested a lot of money into the Ford engine program. I could absolutely see them sticking with this going forward. I don't know that this is a guarantee. And I also don't know that I believe that if Donnie were to go back to a Chevy-based 410, that he would suddenly be the man again. All right, final minute. 1 minute remaining. By the way, make sure subscribe to the YouTube channel. Trying to get to 40K before the year is over. Dirt Tracker on Twitch. I have no idea how often we'll use the Twitch, but if you are a Twitch person, we are over there. You can follow Dirt Tracker on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those are the kind of the big ones. DirtTracker.com. You can get premium stats with the subscription to Dirt Tracker Plus, $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year. We will have new Dirt Tracker shirts very, very soon at shop.dirttracker.com. Sign up for the slider, the email newsletter. It's free. Comes out periodically. All sorts of good things in there. Yeah. You can also find the show, the Daily Show, wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. My wife doesn't care at all about racing. I mean, not even a little bit. And she has been with me through all of this, through my entire NASCAR career. She never could remember who I worked for. Like she's a book nerd, a movie nerd. She is a published writer. She doesn't care at all about racing. My kid is much more worried about baseball. Not that he's against racing, but he likes baseball and basketball and stick and ball sports. Jeff, also trying to get me to piss people off. Not going to answer this question either. All right, fam. We're going to call it good for there today. Hope you enjoyed. We did this for almost 2 hours. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. We will hopefully do it again soon. I would like to do this with maybe some guests and stuff like I did the last time we did a live stream with Blake. So I'll try to get off my ass and figure that out. But anyway, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoy tonight, tomorrow, all the dirt racing that's going on. And we will see you guys back on Sunday for a fresh daily show. So bye.